found like Matt Cawthron and like Warren, Coma Cinema and Fox and Fiction at the time on the internet. And like I found them, and like there was like this kind of like almost like weird. It's almost like I flipped up a rock like on Tumblr and like kind of found like this weird community of people that like all really knew each other, and like I had kind of slowly heard songs kind of from all these projects before I realized that there was like a web really connecting all of them, and it was just like really inspiring and like so interesting to me that like like Rachel Levy and like Kiss Kiss Fantastic and like all these projects at the time. But I was also listening to like I found like Earl Pink around that time too, and like a lot of his records like House Arrest and like Worn Copy, which are like some of the most like just like bizarre, like almost like satirical pop music, like really weird lo-fi, like really bizarre production. I was using a mic that required Phantom Power at the time, so that's pretty much all it was. I was like, yeah, Phantom Power, yeah, and like like my girlfriend at the time too was like, yeah, Phantom Power, that's crazy, and she like drew this like funny like comic of like what Phantom Power is. It was like some guy like in a cape with like a thing, so I was just like joking. I just like made a blog spot and started like posting like MediaFire links in there, and then eventually like a Bandcamp and stuff. But yeah, it's almost like a journal, like.
I mean, because you would release things like every month or two.
It was like every month, and then it kind of became like every other month, and kind of like fizzled out as like work, like things
Actual
come up.
job.
Yeah, but really that actually became even more dependent on like more of a function of like putting things out and not a function of recording. Like the recording has remained pretty much constant like since then. It's just like now there's more of a filtering process to putting things out.
Gotcha.
I mean, and that's like a lot of it is like learning how to produce things well and stuff, or better, or
yeah.
I started like the Phantom Posse thing just because I felt like I had so many friends around me that were like just like so talented and just like really wanted to kind of focus more on like a collaborative kind of effort, and kind of took the same like Phantom Power philosophy of just like very quick, like in terms of like whatever you think you should do first, like for the next like part of the song, or like just do that. So it's a very quick kind of recording process, except with like a bunch of friends, like my friend Jay was like a big part of that, and then eventually McConan. My friend Sandra did a lot of art for it and stuff. But it's getting a run, like going through a lot of like personal stuff at the time, and it's just like it's kind of disastrous. So I mean, I kept recording, but just a lot of weird, kind of dark things.
So what year was that? Like around what time?
This was like right after I graduated college. It's like a time that ended up being like a big subject matter actually for the Steve Sobs Heavy Heart.
Yeah.
Like most of it's like very much like inspired by that time, which is kind of like one of those like classic like, oh, it's like this is like the worst time of your life, but at the same time like when you're in it you kind of know it's the best in like a weird way, and that like
there's something
about like the free fall of like something, and like just like being so disconnected and like not being tied down by any job or like, just kind of like this like wandering like that's like granted under like terrible circumstances, but like it was actually like very liberating and probably something I won't get to do for a long time, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it was like the summer after I graduated school in like 2011, and then I started working December 2011. So it was like a 6-month period of like.
So that's the period
of not working and like just like a lot of kind of change in terms of like kind of like some like social network like fragmentation due to some personal changes and things, but so yeah, just this kind of like very strange time that I spent like a lot of it like up home like in the suburbs at my mom's house, where like everyone that I grew up with, no one's there, right? It's like everyone's like off in their own college.
So where exactly in New York?
So in Westchester County, Golden's Bridge.
Yeah,
there's a train station up there.
Okay. The Metro North Train?
Yeah, in the Ohio Line.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a 65-minute ride or so. Oh, straight up. Yeah, it's not too far. So I'd spend time up there, and then I'd also spend time down in the city, like doing like job interviews and like staying at people's houses and their couches and stuff. Just fun.
Yeah. So you still knew a lot of people like in this, like a lot of people you went to school with stayed here.
Yeah.
Did you go to a lot of shows?
Went to a lot of shows. Yeah, like 35 and Glass Signs at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Molly.
Nice.
Among other things. Yeah, good and bad. You know, a lot of good and bad. A lot of late nights, like I was seeing a lot of my friend Maddie, she was living in Prospect Heights at the time. So there'd be a lot of nights of like just kind of like taking the G train as like far as it would go, and usually it would just end up stopping at like Bedford Nostrand, and then just like kind of walking through Bed-Stuy to like get to Prospect Heights and Crown Heights like that way, just like 3 a.m. Well, yeah. It was great. Yeah, it was kind of great. Yeah, I was also getting really into the Stuyvesants, which are this like, I think I've played them for you before. It's like,
it's like
they're like those like, just like all these like 70s vinyl samples, just like flipped in like cool, like hip hop, like smooth, like chillin' kind of beats.
And they're like little.
Yeah, real vibey. Yeah, they're from Bed-Stuy. Well, Phantom Posse actually didn't start until I got my job, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was kind of like this, like, you know, like Renaissance. Like, okay, I have a job. I have like a studio apartment. Like, yeah, I had like friends singing with me like, all the time. Like, I wasn't sleeping. I was just kind of like in this like manic state of just like trying to like just like producing content and just like having people around all the time and just like.
Working?
Yeah, and working too. It was just like, and I don't know. I was just kind of like trying to take on pretty much like everything I could, you know.
Or just
kind
working
of like,
on everything.
Yeah, it was like, oh, like all these opportunities, like tutor. Like, yeah, I'll tutor a bunch of high school kids. Like, sure, that's great. Like, oh yeah, I like work this job. Like, oh yeah, let's start this recording part. Let's do this. Like, yeah, let's like, you know, I'm just like, I don't know. There's like this. Yeah. So that's where like the Phantom Posse thing started. I just got this email and it was like, you know, McConan was like, oh hey, I just like found your music, like because like him and his friend had apparently been like calling themselves like the Phantom Power Gang like in Atlanta, and they just like Googled it one day and like found my Bandcamp. And just like, who is this guy? Like, whoa, he put out all this music, and just like started listening like, oh, like McCone's like, oh, I really love this, and you just like reach out like, hey, check out my thing. He like sent me this link, and it's like this SoundCloud link, and I clicked on it, and I was listening to a few of his songs. I found this song Sneaky Lady, and I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. It's like, who are you? And we just started like corresponding, and I like remixed that song, and like, I don't know, we started like talking on the phone and stuff, and then eventually, he started recording with Phantom Posse.
Wait, where was he? Where?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we like.
So you would trade stuff back and forth on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, and Phantom Posse 2 had one of our friends, Renee. He's from Australia, so we'd have to. And then, even with Phantom Power 2, I'm thinking about the internet. I did this one album with this guy from Poland, Patrick, who makes this like real ambient music, and he would just kind of like send me these like big ambient textures, and I would just like try to cut them up into pops.
Yeah, you cut up.
But that was another wild thing too. Just because, like, I mean, his English was pretty good, but like sometimes there would be like some things where you're just kind of like, where, and like, you know, just kind of like big back and forth kind of. Yeah. Sort of fun. And we talked actually. We reconnected a few months ago. We were talking about trying to do something again, but slow moving on that. Yeah. So I guess that really came out of I guess it was kind of like after I'd been working for about like 6 months or a year or so, like there was like that batch of recordings that were like actually very like sample based that ended up being the first EP, Pretty. I realized they were like kind of different. And I really, you know, I felt that like I'd put out like so many EPs as Phantom Power that like I don't even know what that really means anymore, just because it's been like through so many kind of like
you didn't know it for yourself?
Or like what that name meant. And I just, it's like, you know, like the brand to me, like it didn't even make sense. It's just kind of like this like wash of stuff, which I guess is fine too. But I just felt like I wanted to kind of like start kind of clean and
to sort of start something that you knew kind of what the direction was or something, as opposed to just this thing
that it's just been like going on forever and just kind of like turning in on itself and being weird and self-referential and like I don't know.
Especially when she's here.
Well, the Steve Sobs for the most part is me, but I mean, I try to pull in Nadia. So it's like has such a beautiful voice, and like I think that her voice can really fit in with like kind of the palette that's going on with Steve Sobs. So I've been trying to do that more, but Yeah.
And so do you have
Sometimes, yeah, we work at different paces, so like it's kind of like it'll be ready in time or it won't be ready in time, so I'll like use it for something else, or like I don't know. We have a lot of stuff that's kind of like in these in between stages. And, no, yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, like it can like sometimes like working with the people can actually be like greater than the sum of its parts, like kind of thing, like this like synergy kind of component, like particularly my friend Jay and I, which we've put out music in the past as like Blue is True, like in a 4-track with like really,
What's it called?
Blue is True is the name of that project. Super quiet, but like we have a bunch of stuff that I am really excited about. That like sometimes like when we get together, like we just like kind of like click and like get in this groove that like where we're actually like somehow we're like both better at playing guitar when we're around each other or something. You know what I mean? It's like whoa, I didn't even know I could do that. But it's like only because you're here for some reason, or like I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But sometimes like yeah, you can kind of hit those strides where it's like. You know, a certain beat could like make you come in with like a vocal in a certain way that you would never otherwise think of, and like, I mean, yeah, like Macron and I can get in that groove, and like maybe it's like, and it's really like the best. Okay, cool. Hopefully we don't sound stupid, right?
Yeah. Let's like say like a nice indie thing. It's good talking to you, man.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Alright, that's good.
Brought to you by Tecate.
Brought to you by Tecate.